Welcome back, folks. Happy Tuesday. Welcome to the CI Chit Chat, where we are talking CI, which is carbon intensity, basically the carbon footprint of our ag production, because we are the part of the carbon footprint of the supply chains that our products go into. Particularly talking about biofuels, and we're talking low carbon farming going into low carbon biofuel because of the 45Z tax credit, and lots moving and shaking on that. Some things are happening. I don't know the details. I don't have any groundbreaking things to share today on the specifics, but things are happening. Things are absolutely happening. So, but let me maybe start, I think, backing up just a little bit on what specifically is happening, what these headlines are about. So, the 45Z problem is that Congress has passed the bill a couple times, right? They did it with Inflation Reduction Act in August of 2022. They passed the bill and extended the program with the Big Beautiful Bill July 4th of 2025. So Congress has gotten their stuff done twice. Congress passes a bill, executive branch has to write the rules and implement the bill, implement the law. And the Biden administration, in the final hours of their administration about a year ago, they put out a intent to propose a rule and a draft of that rule, but an intent to propose a rule and an actual rule ain't the same thing. So that draft, it started the ball rolling. Some folks are absolutely going ahead and creating credits and deploying capital and whatnot based on the content of that rule. But there's still a lot of unknowns. A huge gap in that rule from January of 2025 is that in that intent to propose a rule and in the draft, it says that they intend to include climate smart ag practices at a later date or something along those lines. But it specifically says that they intend to include climate smart ag practices in 45Z, meaning all this stuff that we've been working on here at Continuum Ag, right? Where you can quantify the carbon footprint of the crop based on a variety of practices, right? The Biden administration coined them climate smart ag practices. We mostly call them just low CI practices, soil health practices, regenerative. I don't really care what you want to call them, but that category of things, cover crops, reducing tillage, improving fertilizer management, improving yield, those things. Those are all in this climate smart ag, low carbon bundle. Well, that draft guidance only said we intend to include those practices at a later date, at some point. A week later, the USDA put out guidance about how you could quantify the carbon footprint of farming practices and how you could verify it. And they came out with their own calculator and whatnot. So a week after the Biden IRS said that they intend to include these climate smart practices, a week later, the Biden USDA put out the details and the rules about how that could be done. Then, of course, Trump administration took office. Nothing happened for 6 months while they were sorting out Big Beautiful Bill and what programs with Inflation Reduction Act were going to stay or go. 45Z was one of the few that got to stay. And now, of course, Trump administration has been working to update the rules and get things across the finish line. The IRS let's start with USDA. USDA put out a rule back in January, and we know that they have continued to move forward, updating the rule, updating the calculator. They have things ready to go. They just haven't actually pushed any of it live yet. They're sitting on it, waiting. The IRS, they went ahead and pushed their rule for review. That happened on December 17th. The IRS took their intent to propose a rule, and now they've actually gone forward and have a rule put together. It's not going to be a final rule. There's still going to be process here, but the IRS did push forward a rule, And by pushing it forward means that they had to send it over to the White House for review, where they kind of check through, making sure that it checks all the boxes and whatnot. And the group that does that is called the Office of Management and Budget, or OMB. And then a subgroup underneath them is OIRA, the Office of Information and Regulatory Affairs. So it's went over to OMB in mid-December. After Christmas, they came back to a group of us who had raised our hands saying, hey, we'd be happy to talk about this. And they set up what's called EO 12866 meetings. It's based on an executive order from a long time ago. But they choose companies to have these meetings with them where they get feedback and ask, or they get feedback and us companies present to them our recommendations, our watch-outs, our red flags, and explain to them, hey, here's what you should do. So I was one of the first 7 companies chosen. Continuum Ag was one of the first 7 companies. So we had our meeting with the White House 2 weeks ago. They had meetings all throughout that week. So it was the week of January 14th, kind of in that week. They had meetings all last week as well. And they were scheduled to have more of these review meetings this week. I think they had maybe 4 or 5 of them scheduled for this week. So on their total meeting list, the other day it said that there was 22 meetings. Well, late Sunday evening, I got word from a buddy. A lot of you following him on Twitter. He's very active in this, Corey Levinsky. And Corey and I have gotten to become kind of buddies in this space. He's just really in this from a policy side, and obviously I am too. So we've been able to bounce things off each other and whatnot, keep each other informed. So late Sunday, I got a message from Corey saying, hey, the status of the review process has changed. It now says that they're completed. And it was late Sunday. I'm like, all right, well, that's weird. So yesterday morning, I looked deeper into it. And what they did is that they basically said, okay, our review process is completed. I think it was as of January 23rd, so it would have been last Friday. And those meetings that were on the list for this week are no longer on the list. Now, I haven't looked here today. I could look again quick, but they, as of when I was poking around yesterday, I just refreshed. So now instead of saying 22 meetings, now it says 16. And those meetings that were scheduled for this week, evidently, they said, nah, we've heard enough. We're not going to meet with you, which is kind of weird. But they concluded the review. We know that they did make some recommendations or have some changes, which I assume is common, right? They're probably always at least going to find something that needs adjusted or needs changed. So OMB suggested those edits and then sent it back over to Treasury, who now can push the rule live anytime. Trump is going to be in Iowa later today. I'm not planning on going to it, but I don't know what he's going to be talking about later today. But obviously I would assume he's got things to talk about along ag policy. 45Z would not be the only thing. E15 is a big deal. Trade is a big deal. Farmer profitability, of course, and just stability in general. The fact that we're probably never going to have a 5-year farm bill again. Lots of different topics that are really important. And then, of course, he's going to be talking about energy. He's going to be talking about, I assume, AI and that kind of thing, too, that Iowa has gotten very involved in. So, don't know. All I know is the rule was in review. It was supposed to be a 60 to 90 day review window. It's been about 45 days, and they got that completed. Not even 45 days, and they sent it back. It's my understanding that Treasury could sit on it for as long as they want. Maybe it goes live today. Maybe it goes live Friday. Maybe they sit on it for weeks or months. I don't know. Plenty of rumors about it going live sooner rather than later. I would think that they would do that, but I don't know. The other piece that I don't know is, when in December, when this was submitted, it was being coined as just skinny guidance, where it's just a quick rule for 2025 credits. Doesn't have a lot in it. It's just a quick, skinny guidance so that taxes for 2025 can get filed. Then they will go back and do a review again and update the rule to be more comprehensive, full guidance. So that was the understanding, that it would be this skinny guidance, a couple weeks ago. Then, when they started the EO 12866 reviews, as they've extended the timeline of getting this done, because the original rumor was it'd be live by the end of 2025, be done by the end of the month. So that was going to be quick turnaround, skinny guidance, real fast. Then the word changed to, well, they're doing all this review, they're spending all this time, they're extending the release, a little bit longer than what we anticipated. Maybe there's more to it, which was obviously incredibly exciting for us, because if it is just skinny guidance, they're probably not going to have a feedstock piece included, right? That would be later to come, which was what I was told we should probably expect. But then they had these review meetings, and it's like, all right, well, maybe they are, including the feedstock. Like, why would they spend time talking to somebody like me, who, that's all I'm going to talk about, of course, is the farmer tie-in and how the farmers can contribute. We're 60% of the equation, and have a tremendous opportunity to contribute to lowering the CI of biofuels and driving the financial opportunity associated with this credit. So why would they spend their time talking to me if they weren't considering some things along the lines of, including the farmers in the program? So I don't know, but at least it feels like we're going to get some clarity here soon. Some things are moving forward. Trump's coming to Iowa. The review, somebody evidently called for change in the time that they were going to be done with the review process. Like, why would you set meetings for this week, the week of January 26th? Why would you set meetings for the week of January 26th and then say, no, we're done on January 23rd? Sorry, people, you got your hopes up. And we pulled the rug out from under you, which I guess it's government. I don't know how often they cancel these meetings and end the review process early, but I don't know. So, long story short, there's a rule that is done with its review. Treasury has it, and we will be monitoring it incredibly closely for it to go live. As soon as it does, we'll sound the alarm and circle the wagons, and as soon as we can, pull together a kind of an emergency press conference and explain to you all what is in the rules. So be watching closely for that, and if depending on what's in it, depending on when we get it, we'll go after them. Jeff, thanks for chasing this, Mitchell. Hey, you betcha. Yeah, I mean, as you guys all know, right, I have been freaking killing myself for 3.5 years to see this thing through. I've got tremendous amount of money and years of my life devoted to this thing. And man, I sure hope it works out, because farmers need it. American ag needs it. The precedent that it can set to scale this and really drive the regenerative ag movement. That's why I like it. That's why I've been pushing so hard. And hopefully it comes through. So anyway, so stay tuned for that. Other couple things. We're getting now to the $3 million mark of research and development tax credits created. It's been incredible. Like, going just way better than what I thought it would go. Sure, it takes some work, pull together your records and stuff, but if you're a farmer, especially if you're farming, 500,000 acres or more, or if you've got a lot of innovative things going on, maybe livestock side of your operation or other things, you need to look at these research and development tax credits. We'll connect you with our partners for free. Contact one of my sales guys or hit me up, Mitchell at Continuum.ag. Happy to connect with these folks. Again, we connect with them for free, and only if you are able to generate R&D credits at the end, then you get a bill for a percentage of the credits that are generated. And again, the running total right now is already over $3 million. We've basically been doing this for a month. So it's been just awesome. The amount of money that are getting put back in farmers' pockets. I haven't been able to generate money for really myself or anybody in 45Z, but these R&D credits, there's absolutely an opportunity there. Really, really encourage you to look at it. And there's a 3-year look back period that you can get these credits back to 2022 because of the big beautiful bill, but that's only on this year's tax filing. So again, if you, especially if you've got a sizable operation, man, it is a big deal. And if you don't have tax liability, that's okay. You can generate these credits and you can utilize them over 20 years into the future. So plenty of farmers are like, well, I don't have tax liability. I don't have a big tax problem that I have to deal with. We have a lot of other levers that we pull on as farmers. Hey, that's fine. You can generate these credits and bank them up and use them in years in the future. Obviously, hopefully, we all have years in the future that we are making substantial money and therefore do have taxes to pay. Paying taxes isn't a bad thing. It's just we don't want to pay more than what we have to. And this is a way to generate a bunch of tax credits that you can utilize to lower that tax liability going forward. So definitely something to look at. Other than that, I think that's all I've got to say today. If anyone is hearing anything out there, or catch a wind of stuff, let me know. Would love to chat on it. But overall, we will keep monitoring the airwaves very closely. Continue to deploy our resources in DC and report back to all of you as soon as we know more. So other than that, have a great day, everybody, and hopefully we'll be talking to you soon, and especially hopefully with some good news, but we'll find out. So thanks, everyone. Have a good one. We'll see you later.